Morning, everybody.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
That might be important there.
Hey, everybody. I think it's 8:30 and we can get started. Let's see. Let me take up Molly's case. Molly, where are you? Molly, are you sure you want to adopt those two? They look like a lot of trouble. Oh, I looked over everything and I've got your fingerprint card, so I think we're good to go. So I will go ahead and you do give your consent, right, Molly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I noted a hesitation there, Mr. and Ms. Powell. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and I'll grant the adoption, and I will go ahead and change your name as you requested. And, it's traditional when a child is adopted that they get a big ice cream sundae for breakfast. So I guess y'all have to at least put out that, put that out, okay? All right.
She
So.
can have whatever she wants.
All right, Molly, you got them wrapped around your little finger. Good job there. Anyway, I'll go ahead. I'm signing your papers right now, and you can probably pick them up in probably ought to give us till Tuesday or something like that, but they'll be all set. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry
you.
Christmas to y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Oops. All right, let me run through the docket before we get started, everyone, and let's see who's here and who is not. Let's see. Do we have Kim on the rainwater yet? I think I saw Iris. I see Iris. We're just waiting on your attorney. Let's just give us a few minutes, okay, Iris? And let's see. Whitney Smith. Is that your case, Michelle?
I have the Smith versus Sinclair protective order, Judge.
Okay, and let's see, Miss Smith, are you there somewhere?
I'm here.
Okay, you're at Victims Assistance. Okay, is Mr. Sinclair present? Mr. Sinclair? Okay, y'all give me just a minute and I'll pull that case up and we'll get started. And then let's see, Brittany, I see you, and Miss Gerard.
Good morning.
Oh, I see you. Okay, and Joshua Wheaton. Is Mr. Wheaton present?
Judge, he showed up at the courthouse. They were going to his vehicle to try to log in
All
from
right.
there.
Okay, Brittany, we'll get to you in just a minute then. And then let's see. All right, and then Miss Kaufman and Mr. Dawes. We've got the Tolano and Palanes, I guess. Wait, Panales. All right, and this is a custody case. Is this contested?
It's a motion to enter, Judge.
Good, okay. And I'll get with you guys in just a second on that one. And then anyone here on Clark, Roebuck, Shalander, and we did Powell. And let's see what else we have. And I think that's it for the morning. There's Kim Phelan. Okay. Let me go ahead and I'll take care of Miss Smith first. Let me pull that up. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't have proof of service. Do you think he was served, Michelle?
He's been served. He's on here.
Oh, he is?
I think that's
Your
Michael's
Honor,
iPhone.
He was just served yesterday, so we have an issue with the 3 days notice.
Okay. Where is Mr. Sinclair? Are you there?
Will Michael's iPhone unmute and give us your last name, please?
Michael, is that you?
I'm here, sir.
Are you Michael Sinclair?
Yes.
Okay. I understand you just got served yesterday.
Yes,
You ready to go today, or what would you like to do?
sir.
I said, are you ready to go forward on the hearing today?
Sure.
Okay, all right, y'all, let's see, sit tight just 1 second. And let me see, Rainwater, Kim, I see you. Is Mr. Charles, Bertrand Court?
Second court judge, he's incarcerated. He was served on December 8th. It's on file.
Okay, let's do that one right quick. Oh, let me take care of the defaults. Would you raise your hand, Iris, and sworn?
In the matter before the court, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Iris, can you say something so we can hear you?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, just speak up a little bit. All right, so does appear that there was service, return's been on file since the 9th, and there was apparently service on the December 28th, I think it's what it says. December the 8th.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, we're ready. You want to go ahead and go forward, Kim?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Your Honor, I'd call Miss Iris Rainwater. Miss
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Rainwater, you're here today asking the court to grant a protective order against Charles Betancourt. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the nature of your relationship with Mr. Betancourt is that you were formerly in a dating relationship. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he is currently incarcerated as far as you know. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Judge, I'm going to ask that the court take judicial notice of the affidavit that's on file in this case.
I'll take judicial notice of the affidavit.
Okay. Ms. Rainwater, can you please describe to the court briefly the most recent episode of violence by Mr. Betancourt to you?
The most recent act of violence was back in August of this year. I was staying with a mutual friend of ours, and he had came by to try to discuss things to what he claimed to fix the relationship. And when he heard that I was trying to leave, that I didn't want to be involved anymore, he got very physical. I started getting punched in the head, in the back of the head. I got maced 3 times in the face. And because of the fact that I couldn't see, I was continuously getting hit. And I was still unable to see. The next thing I know, I feel a sharp object to the back of my head. And I guess with the adrenaline, I really still wasn't aware of what it was until I felt the object on my chest. And when I grabbed it with my hand, come to feel that it was a knife, and I was able to yank it out of his hand. And what I thought was sweat apparently was blood coming from my head and from my chest, to where I was unable to gather my strength or anything. So I was forced inside of the vehicle that I have owned. And he drove me to a location of one of his friend's house. At the time, I was unable to see where.
Okay. And Miss, and I don't mean to interrupt, Miss Rainwater, but where did this incident happen?
It happened, I believe the address is 2620 Florida Avenue in Port Arthur, Texas.
Okay. And that's in Jefferson County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that, did you call law enforcement?
No, ma'am, I was unable to due to the situation, to where I got maced and I had lost a lot of blood. He had broken my phone. And
Okay.
when we
Is he currently incarcerated on this offense?
No, ma'am, he's incarcerated on a previous offense, firearm possession by felon, and he's only incarcerated on one of the charges that I did file on him. Why the other charge isn't put on there, I don't know.
Okay. And was there episodes, so this happened in August and we're in December. The reason why there was a delay in filing this case was because you were also incarcerated. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you're fearful that when he gets out of jail, that he's going to come after you. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. And before he went into jail, I was fearful that he would find out that I was out of jail and try to locate me.
Okay. So are you asking the court to grant this protective order because there has been violence in the past and you are afraid that when he gets out of jail, there'll be violence in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to tell the court?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Judge, that's all we have.
All right, the court will find that the court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of the parties. I'll find that there has been family violence in the past. It's likely that family violence will occur in the future. So the protective order is granted and rendered. So, and he's currently in jail, is that right? Supposedly?
Yes, sir. He's
Okay.
incarcerated. I'm not sure when he'll get out, but she is being cooperative,
Good.
family services as well as law enforcement. And I'll get that order over to you today.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Good luck, Miss Rainwater.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's see, the Whitney Smith and Michael Sinclair. Michael, are you there? Can you turn your microphone off? On, I mean.
I'm here, sir.
Okay, all right, let's see. And where is Miss Smith? Raise your hand, Miss Smith. Okay, all right. Michael, raise your hand. Miss Smith, Whitney, raise your hand. Would you swear him in?
In the matter before the court, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right, whenever you're ready, Michelle.
All right, thank you. Ms. Smith, would you state your name for the record?
Whitney Smith?
And are you a resident of Jefferson County, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're here asking for a 2-year protective order against Michael Glenn Sinclair Jr., is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is or was the relationship between you and Mr. Sinclair?
We were engaged.
So you were former boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are here alleging that domestic violence has occurred between you and Mr. Sinclair in the past?
Yes, ma'am. More than one.
Was the most recent assault on or about August 27th of 2022?
It was September 27th.
All right. Was there an assault on or about August 27th of 2022?
Yes, that was assault too.
All right. Can you explain briefly what happened on that date?
On August 27th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on August 27th, our lights had got cut off in Hillebrand, so we went to his mom's and we were staying there. We got into like an argument, like we was arguing all that day, and then that night we went to his cousin's house. So we got to his cousin's house and we were drinking and we were all laughing and talking, and he was just in like one of his moods. He hadn't taken his meds. He's bipolar and schizophrenic. I took him to the doctor in June and he's never really taken those meds. So we were all sitting there laughing and talking, and he just kept saying stuff like, the Lord tells him to do stuff. And I was like, no, that's not the Lord talking to you. So he got mad when we all started laughing because he thought that we were laughing at him.
Ms.
And
Smith, can I stop you right there? When you said he was saying the Lord was telling him to do stuff, what kind of stuff?
just like,
Hey, Judge, this is Maritza. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the court reporter is having technical issues.
Okay,
She's
all right,
frozen.
everyone, hang on just one second. The court reporter is Zoom is acting up. So figure that out in a minute. Lisa, what's the last thing that you heard?
Last thing I heard was, all right, can you explain briefly? And it totally cut out. It was going in and out. So I'm now on my personal computer and hopefully.
Okay. Right, can you rewind just a little bit, Michelle, and pick up and let's get a fresh beginning.
Yes, Your Honor, no problem. All right, Ms. Smith, we're going to go back, and can you briefly tell the court what happened on August 27th of 2022?
We got to his cousin's house that night. We were all talking, laughing, and we were taking shots and drinking. And we started talking, and he was already in a mood, like I said, because he hadn't taken his meds and we had already been arguing and stuff like that. And he started talking about like curses and, the Lord tells him that he can put curses on people and stuff like that. So that's how that conversation came about, and him getting mad because we all started laughing because I was like, the Lord don't do stuff like that. He's not going to give you the power to put no curse up on nobody. And we was laughing about it, and he got mad because he thought that we were laughing at him. So he said that he was leaving. So when he left, I told Donna, I was like, hey, I'm about to leave. When I walked outside, nobody was out there. Like, I didn't see anybody out there. But when I went to open my truck door and to get into my truck, he came out of nowhere and he tried to get my keys from me. So when I was trying to crank my car, he ended up strangling me in the seat of my car and then pulling me out and throwing me against the driver's side of the car. And then I tried to get away from him, and he threw me on the ground and rocks got in my hand. My toes were cut up, and I was able to get up, and he threw me back on the side of the car. I was able to get into the car. We were fighting for my keys still, and he started strangling me again. So I ended up putting my knee, because that's the only thing I can do, because he had me, and I started blowing the horn and with my knee. And the cousins came outside, and him and Michael started fighting. And that's how I was able to drive away.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about that night.
Okay.
After the incident occurred, did you have bruises on you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you said he strangled you, so around your neck?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have marks from that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also have scratches on your neck?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a laceration on the palm of your hand?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, did you fear for your life?
Yes, ma'am.
And after that incident, did another incident occur on September 27th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that incident, briefly explain to the court what happened.
I was at work. He dropped me off at 8 a.m. at my job at Riceland. And we were arguing, and it was like a repetitive thing, like for us to argue. And it was like an all day thing. He texted me, it was like, you messing with somebody at your job. And it was just a lot. So when he picked me up from work at 5 o'clock, I ended up dropping my son off to the volleyball. I think it was a volleyball game or a basketball game at the school. And we ended up going back to the house. I told him I was going to my grandmother's house for a couple of days, and I started getting my clothes and stuff together because I was going to wash clothes too. And he ended up saying, like, if you leave here, you can't come back here. And so I walked to the bedroom, and he started getting clothes. He ended up snatching my wig off, and I had a reflex and I hit him back. He ended up grabbing my ribs and dragging me through the house. He actually spit on me. I was on the phone with 911 the whole time. He was like, my mom on her way, she coming to fight you. I already called her. He was on the phone with his mom telling her that I had called the police. And I was able, they told me to get to my truck, to try to get to my truck. As I was trying to get up, he still had me, and he had me on the couch. When I got up, we fell on the couch, and he started grabbing my ribs again and just squeezing them. And I was able to get away from him and go to my truck. I locked the doors, and he ended up screaming to my neighbors obscenities about me and started punching my car and they have dents all over my car. I have $2,400 worth of damage to my car from him punching it, trying to get in it and I didn't get out the car again until the sheriff's department got there.
All right. And has there been past violence as in July of 2022?
Yes, ma'am. He
At that time, did he headbutt you?
Yes, ma'am, and fractured my
Did-
nose.
All right, Miss Smith, if you'll just let me ask questions and you answer the questions, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. At that time, did he grab a knife?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say he was going to kill himself?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he ever tell you that if you tried to leave him, he would kill you?
He told me that he would hurt me. He would say he gonna kill me all the time. Like just
Told you that on more than one occasion that he would kill you?
yes, ma'am.
All right, and you stated that he is to be on some sort of psychotropic medications?
I took him to the doctor in June. He's taking it. See, he would go to the doctor and tell the doctor he's taking the medicine when he really was not taking the meds. Like he was smoking weed, doing everything the doctor told him not to do. So if
All right, and do you believe that if you did not get this 2-year protective order, that he would continue to threaten you, harass you, and harm you?
Yes, ma'am.
Since the temporary ex parte order has been in place, has he done any of these things to you?
No, ma'am. I haven't spoken or seen him. And
All right.
the reason that I really do is because right after he found out that I pressed the charges, he went to my sister's house and he thought that he was welcome over there. My sister made him leave. Then we drove to my other sister's house and he went and sat at the car wash across the street from her house.
All right. So you're asking the court to enter into a 2-year protective order against Mr. Sinclair, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to that order, if it's entered, he is to stay away from you, your residence, and other things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also asking, or the order's asking, that he be ordered to pay court costs in the amount of $358,
Yes, ma'am.
and also to attend a BIP program and provide the court with proof that he has done so.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, have you you've pressed charges, criminal charges against him for these assaults?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you planning on participating and cooperating with the district attorney's office in pursuing these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have any plans of dismissing them?
No.
All right, I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Sinclair, you have the right to question her if you want to, but you have to ask questions that'll help me decide the case and not just argue with her. If you don't want to ask any questions of her and you just want to tell your side of the story, I think I'm ready to hear that. You want to just tell me your side of the story or what?
Sir,
Mr. Sinclair, can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
sir.
All right, go ahead and tell me. Or
I never dropped nobody off on September the 27th, sir.
okay,
Yeah, I never dropped anybody off to no work.
okay.
Number two, I don't really recall like the majority of the time I was like dealing with her because I have met. Yeah, I don't really recall. And number three, yeah. And any further questions you have for me, just ask my attorney, sir. Thank you.
Well, you didn't. So who's your attorney?
Scott Rennick.
Okay. Why didn't you tell me you had an attorney before we started this hearing?
I thought y'all already knew.
Nope. How would I know?
I
Connor,
don't know.
it's Scott Rennick might be his attorney on his criminal charges.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anything else? Well, Mr. Sinclair, if you don't have anything else to say, any rebuttal, Michelle?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right. Then the court will find that the court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of the parties. I'll find that the family violence has occurred in the past and it's likely to occur in the future. So the relief requested is granted. Mr. Sinclair, because of the protective order, you are under Texas law and eligible to possess a firearm or ammunition. Beginning now, possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment that you will receive with this order to see what devices qualify as a firearm and that you are ineligible to possess. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or questions about how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, I recommend that you contact an attorney. Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Sinclair, you can go ahead and log off, and let's move on to the Gerard case and Joshua Wheaton. Joshua, are you there? Is that you? Okay, and let's see, Miss Gerard, is it, where are you? There you are. Okay, Brittany, are you with me? Where's
Yes, sir.
Brittany? Okay, all right, would you all raise your hand? Sworn?
In the matter before the court, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so Mr. Wheaton, you're ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, don't interrupt, and I won't let them interrupt you. Brittany, you want to call your client?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gerard, can you state your full name for the record, please?
My name is Benicia Gerard.
And Venicia, are you the applicant requesting a protective order against Joshua Wheaton Sr.?
Yes.
Okay, and are you all, were you in a former relationship in which you all share a child together?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I would ask the court to take judicial notice of the affidavit on file.
I'll take judicial notice of the affidavit on file.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Gerard, over the years, there has been a series of domestic violence. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, the most recent incident involving you and Mr. Wheaton was on or about November 26th of this year?
Correct.
Okay. And could you briefly explain to the court the most recent incident of
Violence.
that?
Okay, the most recent was the date you just said, November the 26th. It was around 7 p.m. We text each other and he wanted to get the baby for the weekend, and he usually get them Saturday to Sunday or either on just a Sunday night. So we were texting about getting the baby. He said he would show up at 7. About 7 something, he did show up, but he had a female in a car with him. I didn't say anything to the girl. I just put the baby in the car, and I got out of my car because I was waiting in my car, and I put the baby in the car with him. And then I said, hold on, I forgot his shoes. And so when I was walking back to give him the shoes for the baby, I said, can you make sure he don't bust his lip like last time? Because previously my baby came home with a busted nose and lip, and it looked like somebody hurt him. And I took him to the hospital as soon as it happened, and they said it was no harm done to him and he was fine. So I brought him home and continued, taking care of him. But I just told Mr. Wheaton to make sure that he doesn't hurt my child, or make sure my child doesn't hurt himself. And that's how the argument got started. He said, be worried, don't tell me what to do in front of his company or whatever, the girl that was with him. And I feel like he was just trying to play me or whatever in front of her, like curse me out in front of the girl. And I just door to where my baby was. And then the girl got out the car and she went to the trunk to get something. I don't know what she was doing. I just closed her door because it was right here in my face when she opened the door to the car. I was standing outside the car. And when I closed her door, Mr. Wheaton got out the car and came around to my side to where I was and knuckled up in my face. And that's how we started fighting. We exchanged a few fist punches. And then he got in the car to proceed to drive off. I think I ran up to the car and kicked it or something. And he got out the car, chased me to my porch. And he started punching me in the back of the head. I had to ball up like this and cover my face. And after he punched me, the girl was telling him, no, come back to the car. And then he went back to the car and drove off. He stopped by my car and he started doing something to it. I don't know. And I ran over, but he drove away. And that's what happened. I called the police and called my parents and stuff.
Okay. Okay, and did you sustain any injuries from that day?
Yes, I have a shoulder contusion to my right shoulder. I'm supposed to be wearing a sling, but I'm trying to go to work today, so I took it off.
Okay. Now, prior to that, was there also an incident on August 12th this year?
Yes. I don't really remember all the dates, but I know the last time he assaulted me, it was at my house. I was trying to exchange the baby, and he ended up putting an injury on my wrist, and it was swollen, and crime scene took a picture of it.
Okay, and that was prior to November 26th? That was a different day?
Yeah, that was a different day.
Okay.
And different days before that as well.
And approximately, would you say that you've been abused on several occasions on different dates over the years?
Yes, ever since I was pregnant. The first time was whenever I was pregnant, and I lived on Hazel Street. Ever since I found out I was pregnant, I've been getting every kind of assault from Mr. Wheaton except sexually.
Okay. And are you at this point in your life in which, well, during those times, were you in fear that he could seriously injure you?
Yes.
Okay, and were there on some occasions that you did not follow through with charges?
Yes, every occasion except this last one.
Okay, and are you asking the court at this point in y'all's lives for your protection, that the court grant a protective order?
Yes.
Okay, and these incidents, did they occur in Jefferson County, Texas?
Yes.
Okay, and are you asking the court also that Mr. Wheaton, with that protective order, maintain a distance and do not, that he be prohibited from harassing or doing anything in an alarming manner towards you or anyone in your household?
Yes.
And are you also requesting that he be prohibited from possessing a firearm and ammunition?
As long as he's not around me, yes, yes.
Okay. And are you also requesting that he be ordered to complete batter's intervention classes through family services as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And any other stipulations the judge may put upon him, are you requesting that that be done?
Yes.
Okay. Is there also, there also an issue with Mr. Wheaton's drug use in regards to marijuana?
Yes.
And has that continuously been an issue with you and obviously the safety of your child to make sure none of that gets in your child's system?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Wheaton, you can question her if you want to, but you have to follow all the rules, and your questions have to help. Your questions can't be just arguing, and your questions have to basically help me decide the case. If you want to forego that, at this time, I'll let you go ahead and tell your side of the story. What would you like to do? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I like to tell my side of the story.
All right. Well, if that's a phone, why don't you hold it a little closer to you and speak up, because I can barely hear you, okay? All right, go ahead. Tell me your side of the story, please. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell me your side of the story.
All right. Everything she said at the beginning about me meeting up with her at 7 o'clock, that was correct. When I met up with her, she had put my son in the car, and she had told me that I wanted to get his shoes. I said, that's fine. She had went to go to her car to get the shoes, and my girlfriend got out the car and went to the trunk to get something out for her, for my girlfriend. And then she had came back with the shoes. She had slammed me because she seen my girlfriend door was open. She slammed the door. She started talking to me aggressive. She threw the shoes in the car. She had told me, make sure he don't have a busted nose, a busted lip like the last time. And I said, I just told her like, whatever. And then when my girlfriend got back in the car, she came back to the car and started punching the window, pushing my girlfriend side of the window. We have it all on video. so we can show y'all. But she started punching the window. And that's when I got out the car. I told her to stop punching my window. And that's when she started putting her hands on me. So I pushed her off of me. When I pushed her off of me, she dropped the keys. She dropped the keys to her house. She told me she couldn't find her keys, which is on video. I told her, I don't care about your keys. I just got back in the car. I proceeded to leave. And when I had my side of the window down, she ran to my side of the window and punched me in my nose and ran off. And I had got out the car and ran after her and pushed her. And when I pushed her, I had ran back to my car. It's all on video.
You slid, she slid.
Right, don't talk.
Plus,
So, Your Honor, someone's telling him what to say during testimony. I'm gonna ask whoever is talking to him.
Yeah, this has to be your words. No one can tell you what to say.
Okay.
So, all right, where is this video?
it's on my phone.
Okay, all right, and in order, if you want me to look at it, we're gonna have to figure out a way for you to do that.
I'd like you to
Why
look
don't
at
you
it,
just,
sir.
why don't you email it? Can you email it to my assistant? And then I'll see if I can
Yes, sir.
pull it up and look at it. Hang on, I'm gonna give you another email address. Can you write this down?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, 279 exhibit EXHIBIT at JEFFCOTX.US. All right. Can you email that from your phone
Yes,
to
sir.
that? Can you email that from your phone
Yes, sir.
to that email? All right, let's take it. Let me, everyone, Mr. Wheaton, Mr. Gerard, and if you guys will just turn your video off temporarily, and I'll come back to you in just a minute. Let me take care of the some other cases, okay? All right, Sonia and Malika, I'm sorry, Judson, Talano. Let me pull that case up right quick. Ooh.
So,
Okay. Motion to enter, okay. Okay. Apparently y'all had a mediated settlement agreement back in September and were prepared, and who was initially was ordered, or who was the prepared the original version? Was that you, Sonia?
It was.
Okay, and so you've already submitted that to Judson, I assume, and Judson, you've looked it over, and Judson, what do you have any issues with her version of the order?
Judge, the only issue we've got is the passport language in the order.
Okay,
The passport provision was not negotiated at
Oh.
mediation. And so we would ask that it stay the same as what was in the previous order.
what was in the previous order? Nothing?
No, that there was a specific negotiated passport provision from, I think it was the 2014 order. And that is carried on through. And so we would ask that specific language that was in the previous orders carry on through to this order.
Did we change, all right, so I think what I hear you say is there in 2014, there was a provision for for a passport order or concerning a passport. It wasn't negotiated, nothing showed up on the mediated settlement agreement. Did primary conservatorship change in this case?
No, Judge,
Okay.
the Mrs. Kaufman's client has been the sole managing conservator since at least another order or two ago, and my client's been a possessory conservator, and that's remained the same.
Okay, so, all right, so Sonia, what kind of language, what kind of, does the language in this order differ from the 2014 order?
You know, I've represented her a long time. I don't have a 2014 order. The language that Judson sent to me was from the divorce decree passport language, which was in about, I think, 2008. And I'm not sure in 2008 that she was sole managing conservator. But what I do know is that the modification order in 2011, there was no passport language. There was no passport language in the modification order entered in 2018. So what I have included here, she is sole managing, and I tracked the language of the family code, section 153.132, which says that the sole managing conservator has the exclusive right to apply for a passport, renew the passport, and maintain possession of the passport. So the only passport language I know of was 14 or 15 years ago, when I'm not sure that she was sole managing. And there have been several modifications since that had no passport language.
Okay.
And I know that the rights and duties in the family code for sole managing have evolved over time. So this is the
Right.
correct language.
So what was the language? And I don't have a 2014 order. I've got a, oh, it was transferred from somebody, wasn't it? Okay. So anyway, if it's in here somewhere, I'm gonna have trouble finding it. But so what was the language in the 2014 order concerning the passport, Judson?
Judge, I can share my screen and show it to you.
Okay.
That might be the easiest thing to do.
Okay, I've activated that feature. I am now in a share full state.
Are you seeing it okay, Judge?
Yes. All right. Well. Okay, thank you.
So see, it makes no sense that this is 2014 when it says passport language from divorce decree. Divorce decree was 2008 or so. And you see the language there, the child's passport on or before June 23rd of 2008. So if they were ordered to apply for the passport in 2008, why would they be in a 2014 order?
Well, so all right, in this, all right, she's got, so the mother has the right to maintain possession of the passports. I mean, so I'm assuming that would be reflected in the new order. And so if anybody wants to leave, travel outside the United States, then with 10 days notice, the mother would deliver the passport to the other parent.
But see, that's inconsistent with the rights of sole managing conservator. In the family code, she has the exclusive right to maintain possession. There is no obligation on a sole managing conservator to deliver a passport to a possessory conservator. So that's
how does a if the possessory conservator wants to travel outside of the country, is what mechanism is it for him to be able to get the passport? Hopefully
there is one short of coming to court. That's one of the rights of the sole exclusive right of this parent. If she decides to approve it, she can do that, but there's no automatic requirement for a sole managing conservator to deliver a passport.
Judge, my point is,
hang on, Judson, just 1 second, if you don't mind. I'm trying to go back. All right. So in the 24, I guess this is 2014. I'm not sure what year it is.
It can't be because it says final divorce decree.
I'm sorry, 2008. My mistake. All right. So in 2008, I've got an order that we're in. They were both joint managing conservators. And hang on, Judson. I'm not going to make a decision until I hear from you. But let me just get this out, or I'll never remember. So in 2008, we have a final decree of divorce. She was at that point a joint managing conservator, and they had this, and they had some language concerning the passport. All right, so you guys are gonna have to help me because the case was transferred and I'm trying to sort through this. So then I'm looking, and before the transfer, there were some orders for enforcement, a petition to modify.
Judge, I can connect the dot for you.
Okay, well, let me tell you what I'm looking for. All right, when they were joint managing conservators, they had this provision for the passport. Okay, now she's by agreement, she will be a sole managing conservator, and I think that Sonia is right, and I'm gonna no disrespect, I'm gonna double check, but I think she's right. I think when the rights and duties of a sole managing conservator also include kind of that, sole control over the passport. So, all right, that's what I'm perceiving. But so if I'm wrong, Judson, tell me where I'm wrong.
There was a 2014 order on a modification, and that's the order that named Mr. Pinal as a possessory conservator. That order does not address passports, and it specifically says that any provision of the previous order not modified shall remain in effect.
That's inconsistent with the rights and duties of a sole managing conservator. And I don't think they agreed for her to be sole. I think that was a litigated issue in Travis County or in the Austin area. So I think the first modification in Jefferson County was in 2018, and I don't think that changed conservatorship.
But my point is, if the 2014 order named her the sole managing conservator and him the possessory conservator, and specifically did not address the passport issue and specifically said, look, all other provisions are going to stay the same, then it should continue to stay the same because it's never been negotiated.
Hang on just a second. Let me look around.
Was it in the 2018 order? So I don't understand why it's even coming up now, because it's always been the right of the sole managing to maintain the passport exclusive control.
I think the issue is because all of the other orders to modify have said any other provision not addressed in this order shall remain the same. And so now you're reverting all the way back to the original order that has the passport language. It's never been changed.
I get what both of you are saying. I guess what I'm trying to figure out though is between this order back in trying to be sure I got the dates right here. The 20 back to all right. I understand. So basically in the divorce, she was a sole managing conservator. Then in a subsequent modification, 2014, maybe, that's when, I'm sorry, she was a joint managing conservator in the divorce. Then in 2014, she became a sole managing conservator. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that when did the statute change at some point between 2014 and 2022 that included included specifically the language about sole managing conservator having the right to the passport. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And
well, there was a 2018 order after the 2014 order, obviously, and she was sole managing conservator in that order, and there was no passport language as they're asking to put in.
But Judge, the original passport language in the decree is custom language. It's language that they negotiated, came up with themselves.
right.
And
That's standard passport language.
It's never been part of a modification. It's never been addressed by the court. It's never been addressed in any kind of a mediated settlement agreement from then to now. And every order between then and now says, hey, if this order doesn't touch on a provision of the previous order, then the provisions in the previous order stays the same.
I'm looking at the rights and duties of a parent appointed sole managing conservator. I don't mean to make such a big deal about this, but I mean, I guess for the longest time, I can remember under that section 153, 132, there's always been 1 through 9. I guess I've just now noticed for the first time that 10 is there. I'm just kind of wondering when 10 came into existence. I mean, I had to go through a bunch of history on that.
What is the code section, Judge?
153, 132. And then it says that unless limited by court order, the managing conservator has the rights, exclusive rights, and it sets it, and it goes all the way down to 10. So I guess hang on just a second, you guys. Let me pull some up. Sometimes there is some value to hanging on to old documents. Or old books, I should say. Okay, it looks to, I'm at a quick glance, and that's about all I can do right this minute. It looks like that at least back in 2010, because that's as far back as those volumes go, show that they didn't have the passport provisions at least then. So sometime between 2010 and 2022, the passport provision was added to the exclusive rights of the sole managing conservator. Now, we'll leave the language alone as it is in the order. However, Judson, if you can do the legislative legwork and find something to where, it was, give me a little bit of a legislative history about when the statute changed, then it may be something I can reconsider. Okay, but she was dead. There weren't any, y'all probably, I'm guessing, in their mediated settlement agreement didn't go through every single right anyway, right? So so it does designate her as a sole managing conservator. And so I've got to, so that, that's why I'm looking to this particular statute in this particular way. But again, I mean, there might be something more persuasive if you could give me some kind of legislative history about when it came back. But at this stage of the game, I think I'm just going to have to go along with that language, because it does. And I do understand your theory and I do get it. I'm just trying to make sense of all this, and I guess this is the only, I'm trying to read the intent of the parties. I mean, if you say she's going to be the sole managing conservator, then instinctively, 153, 132 would apply with all 10 rights. If the mediated settlement agreement had said she gets all of the rights 153, 132, except right 10, and y'all deviated from the 10th, which has to do with the passport, item 10, I should say, then I get it. So anyway, I'm not, but like I said, if I'm always willing to reconsider something, if you've got, but give it some thought, if you can find some kind of legislative history, if you can make it kind of work consistently with all this other stuff, then I might reconsider. But right now, we need to put this to bed. So you got 30 days, Judson. So I'll go ahead and sign this order today if that's really the only issue, and then we'll take it from there, okay? All right. So I'm sorry, Judson.
There's one other issue from the
Yeah.
MSA judge. Judson, and I know he intends to do it, I just want to get on the record that he's going to do. He was going to file a non-suit with prejudice of the enforcement action. That
Okay.
was part of the MSA, and that has not been done to my knowledge. So I was hoping we could get on the record, maybe a date by which you'll do that.
Okay. Can you get that in well by well, the holidays are fastly approaching. Can we get that done before January 1st?
Judge, I can. My client is vigorously shaking his head, like he wants to be heard from the court, and so.
Okay. Well,
the judge
I'll give you a few minutes, but listen, like I said, there's really not, it's not really kind of an evidentiary issue. It's really more of a legal issue. But if you promise not to take too long, go ahead and tell me what you want to say.
Can I speak now? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Judge. So really quick, I'm going to touch two of the topics. The whole thing about the passport, and Judson, you did great at explaining that. Yes, it was, the divorce decree was as a result of a mediated settlement agreement as well. And that's where we outlined all that language regarding the passport. Judson also referenced the orders even from 2018, where both Amy and I are named, or it says shall remain sole managing for Amy and shall remain possessory for me. So none of that has changed. And there's a blanket statement also, like Judson says, that says that any previous or any, orders shall remain the same, that not specifically mentioned. You also had a case yesterday, Judge, where Mr. Freeze and Mr. Hughes had a very identical situation.
I know. Well, not exactly the same, but similar. Okay. The distinction, and that's why I've struggled with this morning, because I'm trying to be consistent, and I agree. But again, the difference from yesterday to today is sole managing conservatorship. Okay, that is something that that was contained in the contract, and the statute is it's right there, number 10. It says that if you're the sole managing conservator, you maintain these particular rights. Listen, I see a distinction in your case and the one yesterday, and that's why I've struggled with this a little bit this morning, trying to be consistent. But that's a little bit of a different situation, and it may be very difficult for to see that. But from my angle, it is a little different. Their mediated settlement agreement is not anything like yours. They remained, that's just a little bit different animal. Not to mention that you've gone through so many changes in the changes in your order since 2008, apparently, and I'm trying to be consistent with that. But listen, and so I acknowledge that, and I do strive to be consistent, but this is just a little bit different kind of situation. I know it might be difficult for you to see it, but I do, and I got to go with that. Sorry. So, all right.
My second thing.
All right, one more thing.
Yeah, just on that, I mean, this is on the record, right? So I do want my objection noted on that. But now on the second issue, Sonia mentioned about the dismissal with prejudice. It was without prejudice, because my concern is that if Hannah exhibits this petulant behavior again, that she doesn't want to come to me, and her mother supports that behavior as she did, that brought us here to begin with, we're gonna end up again here. And I want to be able to bring this forward if it's without prejudice.
All right, hang on.
It's written at the top of the handwritten page of
Oh,
the MSA.
Hey, can I point out one other thing real quickly? I just noticed this. Item 14 on your mediated settlement agreement, the final order may include additional language pursuant to the Texas Family Law Forms Manual. So that does address does include with the passport language. So where, and I'm sorry, Sonia, I didn't hear a word you said because I was focused on that, but is there something in the order about the with or without prejudice, the dismissal?
It's at the top of that page. If you scroll up, it's written in blue ink. It says Pete Pinella shall dismiss the pending enforcement action with prejudice within 7 days of today.
In blue ink at the top of the first page.
You were looking at number 14. If you just scroll up to the top of that.
Oh, the top of that page. Oh, yeah, I see it. Hang on. We'll dismiss the pending enforcement action with prejudice. So, well, y'all kind of sign that. Sorry.
What I want to point out to that, Judge, and I have that here, that's probably what you have, is all in handwriting. I was given this paper because we were in different rooms to sign. I signed it without that notation at the top being there when I signed it, because we were all rushing at the end of the day. It was like gonna be 6 o'clock. And so that was not there when I signed it and it was taken to them. Now, I don't have a problem getting dismissed because it was never discussed during the mediation, I will say that. But I don't have a problem being dismissed, but there was never discussions on prejudice versus non-prejudice, because I can tell you right now, I would have said without prejudice.
Okay.
Right away, because that's been my concern, Judge, coming to your court, because it's been, Hannah was so petulant and not wanting to come to me.
Okay. Well, did y'all have a mediator?
Myra Gregory.
Okay.
And it's all in handwriting. And it was
now you're kind of bringing up a whole nother, issue. So look, I
guess what's good.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Wait. I mean, like I said, you seem like a very interesting guy. It would be interesting to have a friendly debate about this, but I just don't, but I'm going to have to kind of bring this to a close. Listen, you guys have Judson, you guys have 30 days, if you want to try to make another argument, and make an argument, because like I said, the language on item 14, the item, the mother being sole managing conservator, not really having a grasp of any kind of legislative history about when something might have changed and when it hasn't. I mean, that's kind of the basis for me making a decision on that. As far as your and you have, again, Judson, you have 30 days. If you guys want to try to, attack that provision of it, you'll just have to bring a motion for new trial, I guess, alleging that something wasn't there, that, that something was added after the fact, that he wasn't aware of it. That's just a whole nother, problem. So,
Judge, if I could, just for the record, I have an ethical obligation to have candor with the court. And that's what I'm doing. I've looked up the statute since we've been sitting here. The statute was changed in 2019 to specifically add the passport language, item number 10. So that's a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. And as far as the adding something to the MSA, I'm not in no way going to make that allegation that something was added to the MSA. It's not negotiated, mediate.
All right.
And so what I'll say for the record is if Mr. Pinales wants to pursue these two issues, I would ask that I be permitted to withdraw from the case so that he can pursue them, because I can't ethically pursue those two issues.
Okay. Well, thank you for your candor, especially on that 2019 issue. Anyway, so all right, so I'm going to go ahead and sign the order today in the version that Miss Kaufman has given us or provided to the court. And then you guys have 30 days to, do whatever, Mr. Pernalis, you have 30 days to pursue anything that you want to try to pursue. But look, let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. If there's some legitimate, request to, have the passports and take the kids on some sort of vacation. And if she is unreasonably withholding that, and she doesn't have any safety concerns or something like that. I mean, if it's just spite, then you guys can come back and we'll tackle that again, I guess. So maybe there's a problem, maybe there is a problem, maybe there won't be a problem, but today I'm sort of stuck with what I got. Okay. So, all right, let's go ahead and sign that. And then I'll let you guys go. So Judson and Kaufman, Sonia, Merry Christmas. Very, very festive there, Sonia. And
I do want my objections noted.
all Judson has to show for Christmas is looks like a little red ball on his shelf. What did you want to say, Mr. Pernalis?
Just for the record, I want my objections noted, please.
Well, you don't have to do that in Texas, but yes, I will. But I will note your objections. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys go. We need to. All right. Did Joshua? Did you ever come back? Are you there? We need to take a break, but before we do that, I was going to see if I could find his mail.
I'm here.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if it came in. All right.
I'm having a problem sending it to you, but I'm right outside, so I can.
Well, yeah. How come you're having trouble? You can't just email it?
I was emailing it. It had like what is Postmaster? It's saying having an issue of emailing it to you. I was just gonna get my mama to email it to you.
Okay.
Right. You're kind of. I hate to be kind of rude, but we kind of push for time.
I know. I know. Listen,
if you use your discretion with this, there's also other incidents as noted in the affidavit that the court is taking judicial notice.
I understand. Listen, Joshua, is there anything else that you want to tell me? You told me about the video, and I might be able to figure out something about that later. But is there anything else though that you need to that you want to tell me before I make a tentative decision?
Yes, sir. I feel like she got the harass against me, but I feel like I'm being the one that's being harassed. She comes to my job harassing me, my boss. She left notes in my job. She called corporate on me. And my job just pushed it aside because they see what she's trying to do. It's just several things. I got text messages to prove that she's harassing me. She harassed my mama. She harassed several people. And it's just like, she putting me to blame. It's not true. And she smoked weed too. And with her with her problem of her being bipolar schizophrenic, she shouldn't be smoking weed because it makes her act out of control when she can't control herself. And she's out of hand. Like, I really don't want to be in contact with her because how out of hand she is. I can't.
Okay.
She fucking me for years. Like, and she only doing this because I told her I was going to the police. That's why she doing this whole thing.
Okay. All right. Do you have any cross or any redirect? Or I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry, Mr. Wheaton. Brittany, do you have any questions for Mr. Wheaton?
No, I don't think we would get very far, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wheaton. Anything else?
She sent threats on Facebook for somebody to hurt me. I have all evidence to show you. But you
just don't have a way to get it to me.
Yes, sir. But I'm outside.
Okay. All right. And all right. So so some text messages and some video maybe. Brittany, do you have any rebuttal?
Your Honor, I could ask Mr. Roard.
Whatever you want. I mean, if you have any rebuttal, and after that, I'll make a decision.
Okay, yes, Ms. Gerard, have you heard the allegations that Mr. Wheaton just stated?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to respond?
Yes.
Okay,
I just want to say, usually whenever I text him, it's to co-parent. And when things don't work out his way, or whenever you can look at child support, he owed me like $2,000 in arrears, and he does not follow the visitation schedule. And that's usually why we arguing, or why I text his mom. And I called his job, yes, to see if they have the child support or why they're not making the payments, because I contacted child support several times to see why. But as far as text messages, I have text messages as well. It's him trying to give me drugs or harassing me as well. So I feel like the text messages wouldn't be fair, because there's both double-sided. I can go back for years and pull up text messages as well.
okay. And Henry, do you all have an account with My Family Wizard?
No, ma'am.
Okay, would you feel like if the judge granted this protective order, if there is any contact that needs to be done through co-parenting, that maybe y'all should go through the My Family Wizard app so that everything can be recorded for the court to see?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, and as stated earlier, there isn't just the one incident, there has been several between you all in regards to domestic violence, correct?
Yes, ever since I was pregnant, I have got a disturbance of the peace for eviction, for him fighting me in my house. A woman seen him pour juice on my face before, and she called the police on him. He has been, the Beaumont police know him personally.
Okay, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Then the court will find, now, Mr. Wheaton, you have 30 days to appeal this if you want. But I'm going to make a decision today. If you want to, but if you appeal and you want me to review that evidence, and if I grant the, I mean, not appeal, I should say, grant your new trial, I'll, at that time, I'll look at it. But for now, I'm going to, based on what I've heard so far, I am going to grant the protective order. Mr. Wheaton, because of the protective order, you are under Texas law ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition. Beginning now, possession of a firearm or ammunition can lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment that you will get when you get the order to see what devices qualify as a firearm and that you are ineligible to possess. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or questions about how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, I recommend that you contact an attorney. So, all right. So, all right, that's so you guys are, you're excused. And
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I don't think we have any other cases on the docket this morning. Maritza, I think that takes care of it.
That's correct, Judge, yes.
Okay, all right, so we'll be adjourned